All right. See what the drinker thought. Should be interesting. Get over to the Critical Drinker. Tell him Tyrone Magnus sent you. Excuse me.
Never has a franchise needed a movie to succeed quite as badly as Marvel right now.
That's the
After
truth.
years of brand dilution and box office failures that all culminated in
Yeah.
the unholy trilogy of disappointment last year, the modern MCU is the movie equivalent of an aging pop star desperately trying to reinvent themselves before middle age makes them completely irrelevant.
The effed up part about it is they did it all themselves. They destroyed themselves. And the fans told them right from the beginning when it started around 2019. Now, what's interesting is I remember talking about this a little while ago. And there was a fan that wrote a comment that was saying that the whole woke thing actually really started somewhere around 2012. And they were like explaining it in the comment. And I thought that was interesting. I was like, oh, yeah, you did kind of start to notice certain different things right there, but they didn't start to push hard on it so overtly that people were like, what the are you doing until 2019? And they destroyed themselves all the way up till now and are continuing to do it. It's amazing. But they still want some type of life draft. Something to save them.
And they're not the only ones in trouble. With James Gunn's DCU by James Gunn rapidly turning into a critical and commercial disaster, the viability of
Supergirl was a big old piece of trash. Make sure you watch my review on that.
superhero movies themselves is now looking pretty shaky. In short, Spider-Man Brand New Day needs to succeed. It needs to set the stage for Avengers Doomsday later in the year. It needs to prove that Marvel can move past the malaise that's gripped them since Endgame, and it needs to prove that there's still an appetite for superhero flicks. So with all that being said, what's it actually like? Does it succeed in its aims? Does it live up to the crazy expectations resting on it? And most importantly of all, is it worth your time and money? Well... Oh, go on then. Since I'm feeling generous, I'll give Brand New Day a thumbs up. I mean, it's a slightly reluctant thumbs up for sure, and it comes with a few caveats, namely the bloated cast, some questionable choices with the antagonist, and a plot that takes a bit too long to get moving and undercuts some of the stakes of the previous film. But for the most part, it's a pretty fun movie that kept me mostly entertained for a couple...
Yeah. By the way, if you're new to The Drinker, he does spoilery types of review, sometimes full spoiler. So just so you know, it's coming, and I'll be talking about some stuff in this too. Yeah.
Couple of hours. Now, I'm going to give you a rundown of the plot, and it's kind of difficult to discuss without getting into a few spoilers. So if you really don't want to know anything about Brand New Day, consider yourselves warned. Anyway, so the movie picks up with a very lonely Peter still pining for MJ and Ned after they forgot about his existence at the end of the last movie. He still keeps tabs on them as they move on with their lives over the next few years, while throwing himself into crime fighting as Spider-Man and becoming a hero in New York City.
Yeah, he seems when they start at MIT, and there's a point where Ned is like, I think it's Ned, he's like, final year at MIT. I'm like, oh my God. Can you imagine that? Not being with your best friend and the love of your life for, well, I don't know how long they go to MIT. I assume like college, 2 to 4, you know what I mean, years, maybe more, you got grad school, all the other stuff. So, could you imagine that? And not, man, shit, I'd have been told him who I was.
Shit gets real though when a new threat emerges that can psychically possess anyone in the vicinity and uses them to attack a government facility called damage control. But what are they really looking for? And why is Peter the only one who can resist them? Looking for answers, he makes contact with Yelena. Oh yeah.
Because he has a special strong spider mind. And I can't stand Yelena. It's something about her demeanor, the way she talks, everything. I can't stand her. She was fine in the Black Widow movie. But the more I saw her later, especially in Thunderbolts, I couldn't stand her in Thunderbolts. I just don't like her. I'm done with her. I'd rather have that other widow that was supposed to be like she was supposed to be something else in Captain America: Brave New World, like, from what I was hearing. Like she was supposed to be a super soldier or something like that. But they didn't do it properly because that didn't make no sense at her scene, you know. But anyway, I'd rather have her right now, tell you the truth. But yeah, something about her highly irritates me. So, you know, I'm campaigning for Scarlett Johansson to come back in some form or fashion to replace Yelena. All right. Hashtag I want Black Widow back.
They're still trying to make her a thing in this movie.
Yeah.
Who points him towards suspiciously nice government guy who claims to have no idea why the psychic terrorist is attacking damage control. I wonder if he might be hiding something here. Anyway, with a bit of help from Bruce Banner, Peter develops an inhibitor unit that can suppress the psychic powers. All he needs to do is find the terrorist and stick it on her neck, and she'll be helpless. Unfortunately, she gets wind of this and possesses Bruce, turns him into the Hulk, and uses him to beat the shit out of Peter while she raids damage control in person. See, it turns out the terrorist in question is in fact Jean Grey, in possibly the worst kept secret in entertainment.
Yeah.
And she's out to find her sister Sarah, who was taken captive and experimented on by damage control. But can Peter team up with the Punisher to stop her? Can he find a way to reconcile with MJ and Ned? And even if he can, whose side should he really be on here? Now, as you probably guessed, there's quite a lot going on in Brand New Day, and if I was a cynical man instead of the chirpy, optimistic soul you see before you, I'd say the movie's been asked to do a lot of heavy lifting for Avengers Doomsday, setting up characters and factions that are going to be very important going forwards. This is the movie that definitively establishes the mutants as we know them from the X-Men, and the persecution and exploitation they're going to face at the hands of regular humans.
And by the way, the women are always saving the men around here. You might want to think about changing the name to X-Women.
Fuck off. It's such a lovely pair of words.
And right here we have Jean Grey as
Very
Ground
much
Zero.
so.
And I guess she's as good a place as any to start with my criticisms, because for me, she's one of the weaker aspects of the film. Not because of the actress or anything. Sadie Sink isn't exactly an Oscar winner. She doesn't have the gravitas and range that Famke Janssen had back in the 2000s, but holy shit, she's a million times better than Sophie Turner, and she does a pretty decent job here. No, the bigger problem with the character is the writing. She's not portrayed as an anti-hero or a conflicted but fundamentally decent person who occasionally does bad things for good reasons. She's just an out-and-out villain in this movie. She has absolutely no problem violating and mind dozens, if not hundreds of people. She straight up murders innocent civilians without a care in the world. She tries to kill MJ just to keep Peter busy for a while, and she forcibly possesses half of New York City in the finale. She's written more like Magneto than Jean Grey, and what's weird is that she never really answers for the things she's done. She just kind of leaves, and I get the impression the film itself doesn't really view her as bad or morally wrong. That seems to be a bit of a theme with the MCU.
You've taken an entire town hostage.
I'm not the one with the guns, Director.
She's holding thousands of people hostage.
And it could have been thousands more if she hadn't put up her own quarantine.
They'll never know what you sacrificed for them.
Hey! Fuck off!
I also couldn't help but question her methodology here. I mean, instead of going through all the convoluted bullshit of staging raids on damage control facilities and potentially getting dozens of innocent civilians killed, why not just target suspiciously nice government man when he's alone and vulnerable, mind him to find out what happened to your sister, and potentially even use him to infiltrate the facility and get her back? I mean, it would have made the movie about 20 minutes long, but, you know, these are questions that you can't help but ask yourself. As I said earlier, there's also a problem with cast bloat. Yelena's probably the most glaring example. She's just there to tell Peter things he could have easily figured out for himself. Their scenes take forever and they feel stilted and awkward as fuck. But I'd argue that Ned and MJ are kind of pointless as well. Bringing them back when Peter was forced to say goodbye to them in the last movie really undercuts the pathos of that film's ending. But if you really have to bring them back, then fucking do something meaningful with them. As it stands, they're kept in a holding pattern for most of the film, and by the end, Peter's in basically the same situation he was in at the start. They still don't remember him, and it's obvious he can't get back what he once had. I mean, there's at least a decent scene where he confesses the truth to MJ, and she...
Well, I mean, you know, this is just a spoiler. At the end, one does remember, so... Yeah.
quietly admits that she's not the same person he remembers, and I think it's handled pretty well, but it's not enough to justify their inclusion in this film. There's also a...
And I'm assuming that in the next one, MJ will remember him, or the one after. Or maybe she'll never remember him and he'll get a different girlfriend. Maybe she never will. That might be interesting. Wouldn't that be a swerve? Because you would expect the happy ending of that MJ would eventually remember him. But maybe he gets with a different girlfriend. People are already claiming that there's pictures of him with that new girlfriend or whatever on Ned's board or something. So, okay.
Subplot about Peter's spider abilities becoming more dominant and his struggles to contain the power. And yeah, I get how it sort of ties in with Jean's abilities as a mutant, but it feels like a bit of a reach thematically, and the script doesn't seem to know what to do with it.
Yeah, I was going to say there's really no payoff for it. I thought it was kind of going to... I guess it's because of, we've read the comics for years and we know the different implications of what this is, and you're thinking maybe man spider, you saw the black eyes and you're thinking symbiote, and you don't get either of those payoffs. It's just kind of like a exaggeration of his powers, and then, okay. You know what, too? There's a scene where, it's in the trailer or something. I think it's in the trailer where one of the hand, they throw some, throwing stars at him. We called them Chinese stars when we were kids. They threw that shrieking, whatever you want to call them, at him, and he's all like, and I'm sitting there in the theater thinking, he's already that fast. Like, he's literally already that fast. And there's the Tobey Maguire, scene where he's fighting the bully and Flash, and throws the punch, and he's like, you know what I mean? Like, he's already that fast. You know what I'm saying? And I realize a shrieking is faster than a punch, if you throw it right, but that didn't do anything for me, because I'm just like, they're just making him as fast as he already really is, and he already learned to use his spider sense properly, and the one with Mysterio and everything. Whatever.
Kind of stops being an issue when the plot needs it to go away. Now, all of this criticism probably makes it sound like I'm shitting on the film, but it's more because I can see the potential in what it's trying to do on a writing level. There's a lot of interesting ideas at play here, it just doesn't quite tie them all together properly. On the plus side, the action and fight choreography is all top-notch, the emotional tone is generally pitched right with a bit of humour and optimism at the appropriate moments. It's nice to see Spider-Man tackling lower-level stuff in New York City instead of big world-ending events like he's in a mini-Avengers flick, and Tom Holland proves that age is no barrier to playing Peter Parker. Yeah, he's not quite the golly gee whiz teenager he was in Homecoming. Right. He's older now and carrying a few more burdens than before, but he's still got the right combination of responsibility and playfulness, and he genuinely looks like he wants to be there. And he sparks pretty well off John Bernthal as the Punisher. Yeah, it's very much a family-friendly version of the character now, and it's kind of wild when I think about the insanely violent shit that Bernthal's done as this guy over the years, but I think they make for a pretty good contrast together. Ultimately, despite a few flaws on the writing side, Brand New Day is a safe, solid kind of movie that gets the job done without the same energy and novelty of Homecoming or the emotional gut punch of No Way Home, but instead delivers 2 hours of reliable entertainment with everyone's friendly neighbourhood Spider-Man. And if the box office projections are anything to go by, well, maybe there is still life in the MCU yet.
It'll probably be $1 billion movie or more.
Anyway,
we'll see.
That's all I've got for today. Go away now.
All right, Drinker, good job there. Sounds like we both liked it. Sounds like I liked it more than you did. I think it'll make less than No Way Home. I mean, No Way Home had all 3 Spider-Men in it. If it does make more than No Way Home, great. You know what I'm saying? I think No Way Home is better, but I wouldn't argue if someone thought this one was better because I kind of get it. I get it. But great movie. If you're a Spider-Man fan, if you're a superhero fan, and you want to watch a good movie, go see it. Trust me on this. You know what I mean? 10 million subscribers. Woo!